Hi, everyone. And today we have a very special person for our interview, our spiritual interview. And her name is Ere Parek. And in fact, she was here in Sri Lanka for some time. And it's a pity that we missed her while she was holidaying in Sri Lanka. So it was accidentally I saw one of her videos that she had uploaded. Then I contacted her, and here she is now. So it doesn't matter when she comes back to Sri Lanka. We can have a one-to-one meeting. What do you think about Sri Lanka, Aaron?
Oh, very beautiful. Very beautiful nature and people too. Really loved it.
Oh, great. And all right. So now let me straight away enter the discussion on non-duality. Now, you see, in the last 10, 15 years, we have seen the new faces coming into the non-duality arena, and they are discussing their ideas, they are putting across their ideas to the audience. So you happen to be one of the young people who have started discussing non-duality. Now, I ask you a very basic question. The common belief that people have is, I am born into this world, and then I travel along a timeline, and that is what I call my life story. And then we come to an end, and then we depart. Somehow, the spirituality teachers, especially the non-dual teachers, who are advocating this idea that there are no two, there is no two, it's just oneness. Now that directly contradicts this common belief that you are born, you are a separate person, you are traveling along a timeline. So that whole thing is questioned in the non-dual perspective. So the belief that I am born and I am traveling, what is your idea about it? Is it wrong? Or it's a wrong way of explaining it?
I would say that there is nothing wrong, also nothing right, as there is no one separate who could know this. And that sounds as a dream, that there is someone who is moving seemingly through time and space. But that's a dream, that's illusion. And it seems to happen with most of the people. And then in some bodies, it seems to dissolve or melt away or collapse. And the sense of being separate, someone who is having a life and who is moving through time and space, like in linear timeline. So for some cases, it just evaporates, so to speak, to the boundlessness. And then there is no one who is having a life, who is moving through time and space. And so there is no one who was born and no one who can die. The stream of separation just for no reason have collapsed here.
So the dream of separation, now you say sometimes it can evaporate and then there is no one. Or sometimes it can just collapse and then there is nothing left. Now this question is, for instance, okay, let's forget about the separation. There is no person separately from the rest. Now, does that mean the rest, or what we call the oneness, or life, or energy, or whatever you call it, does that mean that the life exists, but there is no person in a body, or it's just a dream in total?
The only dream is that I am, and I can do something. This is the only dream. And from that dream, the dream emerges, so to speak. So the dreamer and the dream are not two. When dream collapses, so to speak, there is no one who wake up. So only in a dream of duality, there can happen that someone have woken up. But from this dream of separation, there is no one who can wake up. And also this collapse is not really happening because there never was anyone who could collapse or emerge to the boundlessness. There have been always the boundlessness, just it have appeared as this contracted energy, this center of being someone, which is suggestion here that this is illusion. It's not real.
I mean, this question may look stupid, but I will still ask you. Because, I will still ask you because now the separation collapses. Then, what is left? Okay, the dream of separation collapses.
Apparently.
What is the rest? Yeah, apparently. Okay, the separation was never there. Right, fine. I understand. But what is left? What do you call the rest? Okay, separation is no more. But then what do you call life, existence? What do you call?
This everythingness, nothingness, emptyfulness, aliveness. This doesn't have any names. This is nameless. But I use different pointers like aliveness, nothingness, emptiness, boundlessness. It's just still life happening apparently, but it doesn't happen with somebody or because of someone. So nothing changes in that sense. Life still goes on apparently, although it doesn't move and nothing changes. But yeah, in a sense, when there is no separation, then everything is different. It's not filtered by this veil of me.
I'm still digging into the same question. Now, for instance, you use the word life seems to be moving apparently. Apparently. What does it mean? Is it real or not real? For instance, okay, I hold this cup. I understand. It is probably to say that I hold this cup may be illusory. Okay, that I understand. But holding this cup still appears.
Yeah. It's just what's happening apparently. Yeah, and there is no one who is holding the cup. It's just the afterthought, the story that mind is creating. The me is always late to the party. It is just explaining apparently what have happened, but no one have done it. But the me is the owner and it claims everything. So I was taking the cup, I was drinking, but you didn't do anything. For that to raise the hand, there have to be like, I don't know, million explosions in the head. Which one are you controlling? You are not deciding, you're not choosing. There is no one to have a free will and choice to raise the cup. But you were asking about is it real or not real? I would say it's real and unreal, and it can't be explained. It's unknown, it's unknowable, it's totally ungraspable. The mind will not and never understand this, although the attempts is constantly, it's the function of the mind to try to understand, to know the unknowable, but this will never happen. This doesn't know anything.
So mind is the trap. The mind is the one that tries to understand, tries to interpret, tries to explain what is happening. And you have just said that even drinking a glass of water is, post thought. The mind will come back and say you decided to have, something like that. However, now this loss of separation, collapsing of separation, do you say it is experiential, or is it now? Now it's a difficult question to answer, because you can't even say it is experiential because that person was never there. So, so what is this transformation? Earlier the person was there, and now even in your case, earlier you would have had a person inside your body, and now you are saying there's nothing. This is what is, right? So, is it experiential, or is it what really happens?
Yeah, it's very difficult to explain because when I share the story, what apparently happened, and then before and after, it's all a story. And here it doesn't mean anything. It's not an event. So in a story, when here it happened, apparently, it was
Mhm.
noticed months later that there is no one already. Because when it happens, so to speak, there is no one who noticed this. So there is no realization even happening. It's not experience. And in the story of Ere, when this message was heard, and it was heard that there is no experience anymore. But Ere was in the face of having lots of experiences, lots of glimpses, and they were special or important for me as the awakening was also in a story, experiencer, and it made me a little bit more special. But all this specialness, hierarchy, all dissolves to nothingness. That this non-event is non-special. No me wants this. Me wants to survive. Me wants to get this. Me wants to realize this, to see this, that there is no one. So it waits something to happen, but nothing will ever happen. It's so clear that nothing have ever happened. So there is no shift or experience. There can be a shift in the brain. I don't know that, but no experiencer, and this is not experience. So here it was very, very gradual. I don't have any date to show.
But Ira, certainly the way you speak, when you spoke then and the way you speak now, there's a clear difference. But would you say that is what is happening? Or would you say it is based on some kind of a transformation? Uh, how would you explain that? Because you are not saying the same thing which you said a few years ago.
Yeah, but in a daily life, the natural talking still happens. There is interacting with the dream. It's only in these kind of interviews or meetings or one-on-ones or my YouTube video, I'm using the language to describe this. And this language is like learned, so to speak. I didn't have any words to describe this indescribable, but somehow the video started to happen and this expression about this started to happen. And here it doesn't matter if speaking about this happens or it doesn't. It's the same. No one's doing it. It's just what's happening, apparently. Totally free.
Right. Let me put it this way. If you look back, okay, I mean in mundane terms, I'm talking. If you look back, was there a curiosity, or was there an interest, or was there any kind of a question that drove you? What is this? Or did you hear any non-dual kind of stuff from various other teachers which made you look at things from a different perspective? If you look back.
Yeah, I can share that story shortly. So here was a little bit a short period of seeking, spiritual seeking. Didn't follow any guru, any teacher. This haven't been never natural for this body to put someone to the higher level. So it is intuitively maybe felt that there is no one higher. But in the story, Ere was looking for life purpose and meaning of my life. What is the purpose for Ere to be alive? And yeah, this was the seeking what happened here. And one day, Nonduality message arrived, popped up in YouTube, and it was heard as a home, that this is it, there is nowhere to go. But I was trying to listen to the message. I couldn't. The body got so contracted, so frustrated. So it didn't like it. So it was listening it 5 or 15 minutes, and that was it. So here wasn't going to any meetings prior. Yeah, and even couldn't listen to message, but it was heard, not by me, because this me didn't want to hear this, that this is the end, but something inside was resonating, and that this is home, and this is one way, and there is no coming back, and and actually differences in Ere started to happen even prior to hearing this message. As for Ere, birthdays were always very, very special days, like my days, fall off before I heard the message, or Christmas. So these special things started to fall off even prior to this hearing this message. So that's why I said the falling away here was gradual. And then when listening to the message, at first it was like, I hate it. I hate all these who are talking about this. And but from one point it was obvious, everything was obvious, and I didn't have any words. What's obvious? There wasn't any separation anymore. So I didn't seek this so much or so badly as I now do one-on-ones with the people who have listened this message way longer than I had the opportunity to do it. So now it's just the birds singing beautiful music for the ears.
Because now why I kept on asking these questions is, now you are being unfair by the viewers of this video, because they all will want to have the same experience that you had. Because the way you are saying it, it looks like that something had happened, which now makes you think that everything it's just interconnected and there is no separation. What happens. Now that recognition, that understand. Now the people who will watch this video will say, okay, we would also like to have this experience, or have, me collapsing, something like that. Now, if you are to tell them something, if you are to give them some kind of I'm not saying you have to teach them, but I'm saying if you are to give them a kind of a pointer, just that might click something, that might crack something inside. I don't know. What would you say?
That there is already no one who can die. Me wants to get rid of the sufferings, but sufferings doesn't need to go away. Just the sufferer may die. And the seeker is seeking the end of the seeking. But with this seeking, it maintains itself, so to speak. Apparently, no one's doing it. There is no choice to start seeking, to stop seeking. When seeking is happening, then seeking is happening. No one's doing it. So there is no hope in this message. This message, what is shared here, is totally meaningless for the person. Person wants something, but this is nothing. I'm talking about nothing and also everything. But it's you for the me. Me would like to get free from the sufferings, to get full, complete, to be happy. But the thing is that there is no me then to be happy, to be full. Then it's just fullness. Just this sense of being someone separates or divides this which is already full. It can't become full. So you can't do nothing. This message, non-message, may resonate, may not. Is also that there is no choice. For some, this, I don't know what, is hearing this and is resonating. And then it can feel like being in tiger's mouth, that there is no way back. And for some bodies, it can last for years, many, many years. And for some cases, it can go faster too. But of course, at the end, it is seen also that there was no tiger, no mouth, and no head in the tiger's mouth. But in the process of so-called falling away, it can feel like that. And then there is, of course, no one who can do something. Like in a story of Ere, it happened, although it happened gradually, I didn't notice when there was no one anymore. But at the same time, the falling away process apparently then happened very quickly. And then the Ere would like to slow it down. Now when I'm talking with other people, most of the cases it's so slowly going and they are suffering so much and to be over. And for Ere it was opposite, but it was clear that more and more clear here that I can do nothing. It's just free fall to unknowingness. But in the beginning, it tries to grasp, it tries to hold on, it tries to maintain illusion to survive. But there is no choice. Life kills you, so to speak. You can't do nothing.
When you use the word that there is no free will and choice, now you can't use that. There is no free will in you can't use it in day-to-day terms, because what happens is how life continues in the mundane world is that, yes, I have a free will and choice. I have a pain somewhere in my body, then I go and see the doctor because I have made the choice to go and see the doctor. But from your perspective, that's what's happening. Or it is even wrong to say that is what is happening, or that is what is. That is what is a better way of saying.
Yeah.
No, but this version that you are sharing with us, I would say it challenges the usual common model. It even challenges the science, the very science, the physics, the chemistry, or maybe it's not challenging. It just accepts, but it's not the way it happens. I do not know how to put it across. What I'm saying is, your version, this no self, and what happens apparently happens, it in a way embraces everything at once, or it rejects this individualism. I do not know that I said it in a proper way. What I'm saying is, what you're saying can be questioned by many people and say, hey, how come you're saying no free will and choice? Here, I decide. Now that's quite challenging, isn't it?
Yeah, this is totally unacceptable for the person. Yeah, and that's a dream that I have a free will and choice. And this, as I said, this message have the person have nothing to do with it. It's not for the making someone's life better, or it's no use for the person. So I'm saying that there is no one who can have a free will and choice. Not that there is no free will and choice, but there is no one who have a free will and choice.
Right.
So
let me put it this way. In other words, recognizing that there is no separation and there is no free will and choice from the viewpoint of a person, it is freedom, isn't it? It is a kind of a freedom, right?
For no one.
I know it's not for a person, but that's freedom, right? It's freedom. It's free for all.
It's unconditional freedom, yeah, and it can appear as not being free. It's so unconditional.
And the way you are speaking about this, is exactly the way certain non-dual speakers are speaking. Exactly, but of course, different ways of presenting. So that itself shows that there is something to be probed into, something to be checked, something to be investigated. Now, you also said that you were looking for, the purpose of life. However, you cannot say it is because I was searching that I'm talking like this, because there is no kind of correlation.
No, no. The continuity is fallacy, is illusion. Nothing continues. It's constantly fresh and new. Yeah, nothing leads to this what already is, already not true, and it can't be taught. It can't be learned. It can't be undone by someone. This doing and searching and learning and investigating and yeah, that's the seeking energy, and that's the duality, that's the dream, what's happening apparently, and there is nothing wrong with that. All right, it's just what's happening.
Let me ask you, in this non-dual message, there are two things which the speakers are saying is illusion. One is the time, the other one is space. Most of them are saying time and space. Now, I'll take time as an example. And forget about the clock time. It's not the clock time. I'm talking about if I go before a mirror, or when I went before a mirror 10 years ago, my appearance looked younger than this. And okay, now when I go before a mirror, I can see clearly my body has changed, or my body has got older. Now, I can say that time has made this physical body look different now. The time, because, okay, you are interpreting it's getting older, all that, but the time factor comes in. How would you explain from the non-dual perspective?
No idea. There is appearance of time, and there is appearance of body getting older. But yeah, I can't explain. There is no time. I remember just right now the story of when Ere was looking this sense of feeling older from early age, and Ere was looking this feeling of getting older. It was seen that the body is changing, but something inside doesn't change. It's ageless, timeless. And from one point, Ere just forget it. This doesn't age. It doesn't matter. The appearance may change, but yeah, this is timeless, appearing as time.
How do you describe consciousness? Now, there are some non-dual speakers, they use the word consciousness, and they say consciousness is the one that doesn't change. The consciousness, people call it beingness or energy or oneness or whatever. But that doesn't change. But it's the mind that plays the game and create this illusory story, including myself and the separation. So this word consciousness, do you support this idea that it's a consciousness that doesn't change? What is apparently changing is a mind story. Is that the same thing that you would like to say?
Maybe, yes. Yeah, I don't use much or at all the word consciousness, but maybe someone calls this, what I say, this consciousness, then yeah, or God, whatever anyone is. I don't mind any words, because all words are just empty pointers and doesn't mean here anything. But to be conscious, it sounds as too.
Yeah.
But if it's said as this, as aliveness or boundlessness or energy, just someone prefers to use consciousness, or I don't know, I say sometimes muffin, unconditional muffin. It doesn't matter what is the word.
When the recognition occurs, okay, not to a person, when the recognition is seen that there is no separation. In other words, if you are looking at the sky, or you are looking at a tree, or if you are looking at the sea or a river, there is this recognition that tells that that these are not separated. This is just one appearance. If that is the case, there is no, this is just a mundane question, but I'm still asking you. But this recognition eventually makes you, or makes one, arrive at the conclusion that, say, you and I are talking, and let's say there is separation here, but there is no separation there. Okay, and from there, something is communicated, and the questions are asked, answers are given. That ends there. And from here, okay, I'm asking you a question, you ask. Now, there is something called unconditional love. I'm hearing this word, unconditional love, meaning that when the recognition occurs that that's and this is not separated, then there is no possibility for someone to have a thought of an ill will, a thought of a hatred, a thought of a difficult to say, but when you see that it's just one, that itself will have some kind of a compassion, or loving kindness, which is unconditional. Why? Because it's just one. There's no separation. Is that the case, or you would like to explain it different?
I didn't understand a couple of words in English what you were saying, but there is no one who is compassionate, and there is no one who sees this, that there is no one, that this is oneness. So I can't even say that this not two-ness is oneness. For one, there have to be another two to say that it's a one, what separates. So I can't say, I don't use the word oneness. I use the word unconditional love for this everythingness. So it doesn't exclude anything. It's all inclusive, this unconditional love. It is all, the worst thing the mind can imagine is also this unconditional love. This one is not more special or different than it was before, so to speak. The characteristics remains. So when this person, let's say Ere, was before in a story compassionate, it stays or remains. This is natural for this body, and no one's doing it. The compassion arising towards someone or not arising is the same. It doesn't matter. So it's not conceptual unconditional love. When we're talking about persons, then there is always conditional love, not unconditional. But unconditional love is also conditional love. It doesn't exclude anything. So there is nothing wrong with the persons, with the separation, this apparent separation, of course. Nothing wrong with anything. It's all unconditional love.
I get your point. It's very difficult to conceptualize it and say this is unconditional love and this is not unconditional love, because it's all in one package. However, in this part of the world, maybe India, maybe Sri Lanka, maybe, people get into this spiritual path because of suffering, suffering in all forms. Maybe it's poverty, maybe it's uh, sickness, it's maybe your ambitions, your ability to be a better person in the next moment, things like that. There's kind of a suffering in total, and that drives people in search of spirituality. So they look at various teachings. Now, what you are trying to communicate, or the message that is emanating from you, doesn't give an answer to that.
Mm.
There's no. At the same time, you are not saying, well, this message will not help. You are not saying that either.
Yeah. The helping may appear, the helping or getting helped by this message or some other message or teaching is just what's happening. Getting helped is what's happening apparently then. But yeah, this is not a solution for the person, because there is no person, there is no one to communicate this or teach this or tell anything to someone to do something. But of course, even in the meditations or teachings or just walking, the separation can collapse, and it's not because of something, because it have always been not to. So nothing leads to. So when there is this searching and seeking and practicing happening, then it's still the me who is doing it and reinforcing the me energy, the separation, the doer. But of course, I must say that there is no doer. It only apparently is. There is no one who is doing it. It's just what's happening apparently, like everything. So there is no escape or hope also. Yeah.
I know. So that is why what you are saying is a double-edged razor, Either way it cuts. Because on the one hand, we are saying, well, when the recognition happens that there is no person, that person was never there in the first place, right? That's one version. On the other hand, someone is meditating, someone is going to retreat, someone is practicing a lot of precepts and doing a lot of things. And that might consume a lot of me energy, as you said, because again, the person who is searching is also me. And that's a waste of a lifetime. I mean, in terms of, right? So either way you cut, the double-edged razor.
Yeah.
So that's because, so you are actually saying that you are trying to say something that cannot be said, that cannot be explained.
Yes. Can't be understood, can't be known. There is no one who can be liberated, enlightened. And that's the part of the dream that maintains this illusion of being someone, getting something, arriving somewhere. And yeah, some me's are searching 50 years for this. And by this search, they are maintaining this illusion that there is something separate to gain. It's perfect too. Everything is perfect in this imperfectness. When I use the word perfect, it doesn't have any opposites.
This is probably my last question. Now, this is a radical question, right? You might probably not even like this question. Now, if someone, not me, because I have been listening to a lot of language teachers, so I perfectly understand what you are saying. I mean, understand, right? Now, if someone raises the question and say, okay, how do we know that you are telling the truth? If someone asks, how do we know you're telling the truth?
Yeah, me is apparent knower, and me wants to know, because knowing gives some solidity, certainty. So yeah, but this can't be known, and I'm not asking anyone to believe what is there, said here. I don't care if anyone believes or not. There is nothing or no one to prove anything. So yeah, you need, no need to believe what is shared here. These words are all empty, and it's just a story that's coming out. And yeah, it can't be known. The knower died here apparently, and it was. I remember I was back in the yard. I was trying to remember something that I knew, and I didn't have any access to that. And then it was clear that I can't know anything. I can't know anything. What I was knew 2 months ago, let's say, I knew it, and now how it's possible that I don't know? So whatever I'm saying, I don't know anything. They may sound as a knowing for the knower, because the knower sees everything through the veil of knowing, the veil of me, the separation. Yeah. So it projects here too that this one must know, but this one doesn't know anything.
Ira, actually, I don't want to ask any more questions because you said everything, everything that you had to say. I think anyone who hears this message, this is good enough. There is no need for me to ask you some more question and keep you for another 1 hour. It's, I mean, you just said it because there's no point in adding any more spices and salt, with more and more examples. Now, I only hope because there are a lot of non-dual teachers who were like you, sharing and caring and sing. And after that, now you can't approach them. You send an email, you don't get a reply. And then even if you want to join a meeting, you have to pay for it. I'm just kidding. Don't take it seriously. But make to have this message freely available. The fact that you accepted this my invitation to talk to us, because this message is very, very fresh for this part of the world. And there is a likelihood that it might get rejected by the majority also. But however, there is something being said, something being communicated. Here it is. Listen to it. You watch this. Right. So you have about 2-3 minutes to end the conversation if you want to really tell the Sri Lankans and the rest of the people about your message.
Yeah, it's absolutely awful message for the person, and it is rejected by the person. The one who feels separate can't hear that it doesn't exist. It doesn't have a life. It's not going anywhere. There is no goal or arriving or destination. Because the me is the seeking energy, is moving towards to something, constantly having goals and expectations. But when the expectations fall, so to speak, then life begins. But then for one, this is freedom for no one, and this is already free unconditionally. It's just illusion, the dream that I am not free yet, and I need to. And then I go to the different teachers to seek this freedom, this liberation. But it's all around this dream of me that I get liberated, I get free, and it is sold in a spiritual world like that.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
Something
Exactly.
special you can get, and then you are free, and then you are happy, and this is some kind of state. Then it needs lots of maintaining. As I said, that this me energy is lots of effort and energy consuming to hold up the story of me being someone moving somewhere, doing very important things. This is totally not serious and important. And I was so happy to read your email. I wrote you also that I usually say no, because there is nothing to talk about. I love to talk about this, and then that's why I have the channel to talk about this. But yeah, and when it's interviewed, then there is usually questions, but here are no answers. So what we are talking about? But yeah, this message, non-message, can be heard, and when it's heard, it's not by the me, because me will reject this message. Me can't hear that, me doesn't exist. So it's totally no for the me.
Absolutely. So once again, Ira, we are very thankful to you. We are very grateful to you for allocating this time and sharing this with us. And I'm sure when this video is uploaded, a lot of people will benefit. I mean, not personally, but one way or another, it will at least arouse some kind of an interest to look at another side of looking at life and existence. So thank you very much again. And hopefully I can keep in touch with you for
Yeah,
any more interviews in the future.
yeah, it would be nice to chat with you again.
Thanks a lot once again. And we will talk to you